नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धेर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् हरि ओम कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Can someone recollect what is it that we saw last? Yes, please. We form the link and move ahead. Yes, please.
Hari
Anybody?
Om.
Hari Om Ji, Namaskar. Yes. Anybody? Can we form the link? Yes, sir.
In 12th Shloka, it talks about three kinds of result: desirable or pleasant, undesirable or unpleasant, or sometimes they can be a mixture of these two. But then, we should not be slaves of desire or ego, and we should not cling to these things,
Yes,
is
sir.
what Krishna says to Arjuna.
All three, no, sir. This
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
the it's in Rig Veda. There is one very interesting. I think in Varuna Sukta, the yogi, the rishi, he invokes the Varuna Devata. He invokes the blessings. That time he says, "Untie all three bonds." He says, "The bonds that bind me to the lower realms, the bonds that bind me to the middle, and even the bonds that bind me up." All three. So Ishta, Anishta, Mishram, all three, I think we can become free. Yes, please, sir. Anything else you would like to add, sir?
Yeah, I think
Yes,
I
sir.
can do it.
Right,
So
sir.
those five things, which is critically important
Yeah.
that we came across yesterday during our session.
Ji.
One is the body, which
Sharira.
second is a doer, ultimate
Karta.
divine
Yeah.
karta. And then we have efforts. I think that's fourth one. There is third one, something I'm missing.
Yatna. Thirds of efforts. You're correct, sir. It's going
Third
right.
is efforts. Yeah. Third is
Yes, sir.
efforts, whereby, we try everything in our control with good
Ji.
intent. And fourth is probably fourth I'm
Indriya.
missing.
Indriya.
Oh, there you go.
Indriyas.
The Indriyas,
Yes,
all
sir.
five Indriyas, we can control, we can determine, we can,
Yes.
dedicate.
Ji,
With
sir.
total control, we focused on the target. And then, of course, the fate comes in play. Fate is
Yes.
all, is
It
there.
has a
I
role.
think,
We have
yeah,
to become conscious that fate is creating a ground. It is like
yes.
in sports, players inspect if cricket, you see they inspect the pitch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then it is their fate that what type of pitch has been provided. They can't
Ah,
do anything with that.
ball swing
But
hogi ki nahi hogi, whatever.
but the other factors are in their control.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, in
Right.
connection with this, when I was young
Yeah.
kid, I was growing up. My father had a very त्याला म्हण म्हणतात ना मराठीमध्ये like he'll
Yes.
he'll
Oh,
always
you
push.
are Marathi. I didn't know that. Okay, sir.
No, I'm not Marathi. मैं बनारस
Okay.
का हूँ. So,
Okay, sir.
but I can speak very fluent Marathi.
Right,
So,
sir.
उनका एक बहुत फेवरेट कोट होता था जो हम दोनों भाइयों पे वो हमेशा देते
Hmm.
रहते थे. वो
जी,
शायद
sir.
किसी ब्रिटिश ऑथर का था.
Okay.
तो वो था कि आई एम कैप्टन ऑफ माई सोल,
Yeah.
मास्टर ऑफ माई डेस्टिनी.
Yeah.
आई थिंक कोई ऑथर वगैरह का है या क्या,
Yes,
आई डोंट
yes,
नो.
yes. I am yes, and
कैप्टन ऑफ
we
माई
can, with the
सोल एंड
sweat
मास्टर
of
ऑफ.
our brow, yeah, this is like with the sweat of the brows, we can steer our ship towards
Exactly.
our destiny. Yes,
So he
sir.
had a very strong belief that we can change our fate if these four
Yes, sir.
things are, in control.
Yes, absolutely.
It will fall in
Yes,
place. That's what is actually meant.
right, right. Yes. So I think sometimes efforts we can, because karma is so powerful, sometimes that
Yeah.
even the devas can get bound by karma. They are
वो किस्मत
bound
बदलने
to
में देर
respond.
लगेगी लेकिन बदलेगी अगर कर्म
Yes,
आपका
sir.
सही है तो. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, sir. Rahulji is adding something. Yes, sir.
I still am not fully clear about this shloka.
Right, sir.
The five things First
Yeah.
is the physical body. Does it
Sharira.
mean that the sharir has, when it's in a fit stage or in a very, very good state of thing, that is when
No, whatever
the
it
result
is
will
our
come?
Sharira, sir. It is, means some of like, I have a Sharira which is prone to kapha.
Huh.
I have to acknowledge it. I cannot say I am like, if you ask me to
No, no,
scream
but
regularly for
the
half an hour, my voice will sit down.
yeah,
I mean, voice will not
the
function.
question
Yes,
that
sir.
Bhagwan is answering is कि कौन से 5 factors हैं which leads to the result. That was my understanding कि it is not just the fate which is just 20%, the rest of the 80% it is another 4 factors. These
Yeah.
5 factors together lead to the result that you are talking about. Is that my understanding correct
No, no,
first?
sir. It allows us to attain Siddhi, sir.
Okay, these five
When
things
we,
allow us to attain Siddhi.
they are defining the consequence of everybody's life, actions and journey, no?
Okay, so
So,
where does it then answer the question that the free will and the destiny question, this particular shloka?
no, in this you have free will and working on four of the aspects in your human control, isn't it? Fate is the only thing that is not in human control. My
Which will lead to
body,
Siddhi. You are saying that
yes,
these five
yes,
things will lead to Siddhi.
yes, yes. I have to recognize which direction is the wind blowing. I have to see that also, no? If I
Hmm.
do not see, if the wind is opposing, I'll have to just change the direction of my sails. And that opposition can become a great source of movement also for me.
And is the doer the consciousness? Is it the Atman inside? Or is it the mind? Or
The Atman, if we talk about it, the Atman has got one active principle and one passive principle. The passive or inert principle is what we call the Purusha.
hmm.
Purusha is the, if you talk about Jivatman, that is exactly where we, the question which, who is asking the question, it is the active participant only, no, sir?
Correct.
We,
Correct.
so in the active parts where actually we can, these four things are very much in our control. It is a permutation and combination of this. In the 16th shloka, I think, yeah, the 15th shloka, Krishna says it's a combination of all of these that leads to the consequences or leads us to our destiny. So maybe my Sharira may be bad,
Hmm.
my fate may also be bad, but
Correct.
I can still use the other things. Let me not get frustrated with my Sharira. Instead of asking, why God, why me? Let
Hmm.
me understand this is the divine's doing. It's not my fault. I
And
didn't
where
choose this.
where do senses come into the picture? What's
So
the role
again,
of the
so through the Indriyas only, they are our mode of functioning to in the world. No? So
hmm.
if you see all the Indriyas, what I hear, somebody says this fellow is hopeless, he has no sense, and I accept it. Then I
Right.
get carried away by the Indriyas.
Okay. Okay. So how much
So this,
control you have on your senses is what Bhagwan is
yeah,
trying to
yes, 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 exactly. And every throughout the Gita, we see that the one who masters the Indriyas is the master of the world, is the master of his destiny also.
correct. ठीक है.
Hanuman had got all Sakala Siddhi and he lost all the Siddhis also.
Right.
Then he
Right.
regained it again by mastery over senses only. They
Right.
say, Manojam Rututulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham
Right.
Vatatmajam Vanarayuktam Mukhim Sri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapad. Why is he Varishta among the Buddhimata? Why is he most greatest among the wisest? What is his so speciality that is making him wisest? Rahulji, what do you think is the in that particular shloka? No? Manojavam Rututulya Vegam
हाँ.
Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam. Why
No,
is he?
Jitendriya. He is
Yes, yes.
Jitendriya.
He
Hmm.
is the Jitendra. So the one who is able to, it's all right.
Hmm.
People have gone through severe physical difficulties, but with self-control, they are able to rise.
So with the right physical body, the doer, which is
Yes,
the active part of the
yes,
consciousness, the quality of the
yes.
effort we
And that
put.
active part of consciousness is aligned with the divine.
Correct. 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 Correct.
So maybe I might be having a good talent of writing, but I'm disconnected from the divine consciousness. I will not get the flow of inspiration.
So Bhagwan is not talking about your mind or your intellect here at all.
No, not at all, not at all, not at all.
Hmm.
But he is
Oh,
actually least bothered about our capacities of mind and also our capacities of buddhi, if you
hmm.
see. He just, these are all secondary for the divine. If we can align, then he says, Dadame buddhi yogam tam. I'll give you the buddhi.
Hmm.
It is in low or it is in negative, no problem. I will make it positive and abundant and superfluous. You will see my touch. You will see my divine presence. But become connected with me and receive. That is what he's talking about.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. All right, sir. So, yes, Shashiji wants to ask something or share something. Yes, please.
I would like to ask you something. You just talked before Rahul ji was
Yes, sir.
talking. You
Yes,
said
ji.
something about gods and fate.
Yeah.
What
About
did you say then? Gods and fate, that even
gods and
gods are subject to fate.
no, karma. I meant by karma you can bind the
Yeah,
gods. That is what.
karma. Yeah.
Yeah, means I meant sometimes if man does like it is. I think there's a very nice story of how in the well, no, a rope is used in most in the olden days, at least in the villages. The with the rope people used to pull the water out of the well. But if you see what is stronger, if you would say the rock or the rope,
Who's
The
rock?
rock.
rock only. But you see, if these people they have been doing for several years, the rope has been continuously, due to friction against the rock. Now even the rock is having a impression because of the rope, which is otherwise nothing. Or if you see even in the nature, water is able to sometimes make a difference in the structure of the rock also because of
Mm,
repeated perseverance. So in that light, I meant
yeah.
to say is it's all right. I might karmas, I might be having a horrible fate. I might be
Mm,
destined to suffer. I might be destined to fail. Yet my efforts, I will fall 100 times. It's okay, but I will rise 100,000. I mean, I'll rise 1,000 times. That aspiration of an individual is there, then that person can make or compel the gods to manifest. For the manifestation, the human side effort is required. And sometimes when things are not very favorable also, but the human efforts are no more human, they have become suprahuman, and then there is a grace, there is a flow of grace to transform everything. Sometimes you become so worthy of that grace that God has to send his grace. That's just a concept. Yes, Jim?
yeah. Thank you.
Right, all right. Let's continue. We go now to the 16th shloka. But this concept of fate and free will, not everybody recognizes it or understands it, or not everybody cares about it. Krishna says here, 16th shloka, Tatraivam satikartaram atmanam kevalam tuyaha pashyatya krita buddhitvan sa pashyati durmatihi. But those beings who do not comprehend, due to ignorance, nothing they can apprehend, themselves to be the cause of actions they believe, the truth such blinded beings cannot perceive. Krishna says here, those beings who do not comprehend, due to ignorance, nothing they can apprehend, themselves to be the cause of actions they believe, the truth such blinded beings cannot perceive. Yet there are so many beings who cannot recognize that there is a doer other than themselves. Because of arrogance, because of ignorance, they're quite full of themselves. I am doing everything. How many times we've come across people thinking, I did so much, I did this, I did that. Who was the real doer? Like in the Kavali, it says, तूने क्या बनाई, तूने क्या सजाई, सब किया है तो उसने, तूने बातें बनाई. You just made the stories that I did this, I have done so much. Actually, it is not you. The real doer is somebody else. But those beings who cannot comprehend, they think they are only the cause. I am only I am responsible for everything. All five factors are within my control. As long as I am alive, I will do everything in my control. And so they are lost. They are lost in the sense they cannot see the truth. They only think about themselves. And they cannot apprehend also what is there which is beyond themselves. Generally, such individuals like to keep things within their control only. They try to influence everything which is going according to their wish. Beyond that, they will not try to come out of comfort zone also. But that is the thing. But question is, can we control everything in our life? No,
No.
isn't it? How much ever we try to bring some amount of, I've had enough trouble this year. Next year, I'm going to really have a very calm, peaceful year where everything is going to be, I'm going to be sane. I'm not going to allow anything to disturb me. And yet, how many things come? Because that is the aspect of universe. That is what we can say. Entropy is also a part of this universe. We cannot control it. We cannot control, but some people refuse to because of ahankar. They feel, no, I can control everything. And they live in that Brahma. Like there was this a small anecdote, a story of a lady in a village. She had a rooster and she would sell some twigs and some sticks to the people in the village. And every morning her rooster would crow first and then everybody would get up. And she suddenly began to feel, I am so important in this village. Because of me, everybody gets up. I am providing them all the whatever wood is required. So there's nobody more important than me in this village. And everybody would smile and respect her, and she started feeling that she is everything. But now, due to some reason, she had to go. She had to leave the village for a short period of time. And she was so confident and she was laughing, thinking, look, now these people, when I come back, I will get such a warm welcome because their entire life would have got disturbed. But because she went with the rooster, so she thought now nobody will be waking the village up. But when she came back, she was in for a rude shock. Everything was back. In 5 days, there was no change at all. It was like nobody was, they were getting up, but she thought she was the one. And then she realized she is not the one who is making everything move in that village. That was a reality check. But individuals sometimes close their eyes and don't see that. They avoid getting reality checks. So they think I am doing everything. That is the limitation. And hence, truth cannot be seen by such individuals. So that is why it is said, let us give up all the ahankar. Let us try to give up. How much can I do? I can do only so much. You go a little bit higher from the sky, we look like dots only, so small. And in the, the Earth looks very small when you look further away from galaxy. So our significance, what are we? How much land do we own? How much land is there? There's nothing. It is nothing in comparison to what the divine is. So let us become humble. That is what Krishna points out. He says, but what happens to that person who has become free, who has surrendered to the divine, who is no more the doer? This is interesting. It is very important for Arjuna, this particular shloka. He says, Yasya nahan kruto bhavo बुद्धिर्यस्य न लिप्यते हत्वापि स इमान् लोकान् न हन्ति न निबध्यते. He who has given up his sense of possession, he whose intelligence is not driven by passion, even if multiple people, such a being were to slay, he isn't the slayer and not bound to sin in any way. Somebody who has given up all possessions. So individual attachments, individual possessions have all gone. He's surrendered to the divine. His intelligence is not driven by personal desires, personal dvesha, personal aspirations. He's just functioning as instrument. Krishna says such an individual, even if he were to slay multiple beings, he isn't the slayer. He cannot be bound by any sin. He is going to be free. This actually Arjuna answers Arjuna's question of the first adhyaya, where Arjuna was, what sin am I going to do? Hey, you are not doing anything, Arjuna. Become the nimitta. Krishna says, become my instrument. So that is the aspect. When you surrender, you need to forget about papa punya. That is how probably Adi Shankaracharya also talked about in his Nirvana Shatakam. न पुण्यम न पापम न सौख्यम न दुःखम न मंत्रो न तीर्थम न वेदा न यज्ञम चिदानंद रूपः शिवोहम शिवोहम. This transcendence takes place when you surrender to the divine, to the absolute one. Krishna goes on, he says, Jnanam Jneyam Parignyata Trividha Karma Chodana Karanam Karma Karteti Trividaha karma sangraha, the knowledge, the objective senses, and the knower. These three trigger the mental impulses in the doer. Then again, it is the doer, the instrument, and the action. All works arise only from the three's combined sanction. So, the knowledge, the objective senses, and the knower. So, what is the trigger for us to do our every action? What mental activity, everything, every action when we do, what triggers it? Well, one is what knowledge we have. Then, second is the indriyas. How do we use that knowledge? How are we utilizing our senses? And then is the knower, that is the supreme divine. But are you connected with the supreme knower? Or you are just in your own level of ignorance? What are you functioning? On what level of consciousness are you functioning? That is why it is important to raise our consciousness. Our perspectives change, our actions become, as Krishna has also told in the previous adhyas, karma becomes divya karma. Na karma lipyate nare, as the Upanishad says. You are no more bound by karma bandhanas. You are not going to create new sanskaras. You are going to be wading freely. But that is a state of consciousness which is required. These three trigger the mental impulses in the doer. Then again, it is the doer, the instrument, and the action. All works arise only through the only by the three's combined sanction. So then again, it is the doer, the karta, the instrument, and the action. All works. All works arise only by the combined action of these three. So whether you are thinking, what is initiating is also driven by these three factors. And what is happening also is, again, if you see, there's a very interesting trinity. Everywhere, three factors. We have three gunas. We have three. Any other trinity we can think of apart from the three gunas that we have seen?
The three doshas.
Okay, three doshas in Ayurveda. Kapha, Vata, Pitta. All right.
The
Yes,
creator,
Anjali ji.
the
Huh?
creator,
Okay.
the
Creation,
creator, the
perseverance, and
preserver,
destruction.
and
Okay.
the destroyer.
All right. Yes.
Brahma,
Aarti ji is
Brahma,
adding
Vishnu,
something.
Brahma,
Brahma,
Vishnu.
Vishnu.
Yes. Okay, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Those three
Yesterday we
aspects.
saw that three types of fruits of action.
Ishtam,
The
Anishtam, and
desire.
Mishram. Yes, yes. Pankaj is adding something. Yes, sir.
एक और चीज हमने कल या परसों ही सीखी है, yesterday or
जी
day
sir.
before. Om Tat Sat.
That's it. Again, triple mantra. So yes, this is the what we can say, the system of the three. So everything these three are governing. So what is the knowledge that I possess? How are my indriyas working? And whom do I recognize as the knower? Where am I receiving the source? What is the source of that knowledge that decides what our sankalpas are? Imagine somebody decides using his own individual knowledge. I'm going to the sea near this beach and I'm going to start counting the sand manually. What is going to happen? That is a very limited, ignorant knowledge, but that is going to trigger a absolutely useless action, isn't it? It will be absolutely tamasic, a waste of all the efforts. So, what is originate? What is the origin of our action? Sometimes we don't really know why we are doing things because life puts us in situations we react to it. But if we can just take one step back and see what is the ugam or what is the origin of these actions, what am I aspiring for, what is happening, then it allows you to see if it is a higher sanction or it is a lower sanction. Sri Aurobindo was in the peak of his freedom struggle for Bharat. He got a highest knowledge. He got the Adesh from the divine. In the next moment, because it was the highest Adesh he received, he withdrew. A lot of people were confused. What is wrong? Why has he done this? Even young Subhash Chandra Bose, who was first very inspired by his words, he felt the fire in the words, which was helpful to push his journey ahead. He suddenly said, "Oh, he's taken sannyas, he's withdrawn," because he didn't understand what was there. But if you see the knowledge which is driving us, we must understand where it is. Only then we will be able to move ahead. Otherwise, if it is driven from some myopic, from a limited source, our views will remain myopic. Same way, Krishna says again the three aspects of who is the doer. We again saw, is the divine functioning through me, or is it just my personal desire that is driving me? Same instrument again. There is the same thing. Karta, how is he doing? Is the instrument completely perfect? A receptive instrument, or it's a non-receptive instrument? And again, what is the action that is done? That is what Krishna says. Let's continue. Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridhaiva guna bhedatah rochate guna sankhya yathavat shrunu tanyapi. Gnosis, the works and actions mode, as written in the ancient spiritual scriptural code, all persist in nature in ways threefold. Listen to these two as to you I shall unfold. Krishna says even the knowledge, the realization, the gnosis that a person is having, that the works also that a person do and the karmas also, the actions that are performed, all are affected by the three gunas, rajas, tamas and sattva. Let us see. सर्वभूतेषु येनैकं भावमव्ययमीक्षते अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकम्. So the knowledge that comes from the inner eyes opening, that which perceives in all the supreme selves becoming, behind all divisions, those who perceive the one indivisible. In all such beings, Sattva's light is recognizable. So, this knowledge that is coming from the opening of the inner eye, that which perceives in all the supreme selves becoming, behind all the divisions, who can see, who can perceive the one indivisible. In all such beings, Sattva's light is recognizable. When your inner eye opens, then all the bheda, all the divisions disappear, is what Krishna is saying. And at that time, who is your friend and who is your foe? You will no more start distinguishing among people. You will understand this person is driven by Indriya, so this person is functioning. Why do we have to take things personally? This person is acting in a very arrogant manner because of Indriyas only. But behind that arrogant wheel, there is a divine sitting inside, isn't it? That divine can become visible, as Sri Aurobindo saw that Vasudevam Sarvamiti, the experience. Or in a simpler way, if we want to take it, because the experience has to come. We don't want to, bias ourselves or, give auto suggestions to get an experience. Yeah, I'm also experiencing this or I'm also experiencing that. Instead, just when you can see that you are seeing oneness everywhere, in the diversity, you are able to see a unity. You can just understand that you're moving towards the light of the sattva. You're going closer to that higher truth. The ability to see oneness in diversity, that is coming because of the light of sattva. Behind all the divisions, all the contradictions, if you can see that, then that is the light of sattva. And conversely, what can we say as converse of this? If we see divisions, if we see divisions everywhere,
Unity, maybe?
no,
Unity?
if we are not able to see the unity and you start seeing divisions only, क्या ये देख एक नहीं हो सकता है. This cannot happen. This cannot be one. I had an experience, sir. I had one experience. Actually, almost 8 to 10 years ago, I had written poetry of Upanishads, and I was very surprised when I got a record for it. And I was like, yeah, so happy. And so I was feeling very good about it. And on the road, I met one person. He was, I don't know what happened. In the ATM, in the ATM machine, I was just standing and my turn came. I was waiting for my turn. I got my turn and I started withdrawing. I had to withdraw 2 or 3 times because I wanted to get the salary out. And this person behind started grumbling. I said, "Wait, what's your problem?" That's all I asked. Why did I say this? This was not my usual behavior. But you see, I was more excited about some news that I had got about myself. And there was what we can say, some kind of reaction. And that person hit me. He hit me hard on neck. My
Oh,
God, I was frustrated. I was angry, and that's it. I then went to the bank manager. Bank manager said, "Dadu, you are not having an account in this ATM, so I can't do anything. You want to do something, go to the police." And the security guard was also not reacting. I was not understanding what's going on. This man has hit me. This man has hit me. I don't like it. So I somehow, I've tried to follow him, but I could not find out where he's going. And then I just got some information. I went to the police station nearby. The traffic police station. I went there. I should have gone to another police station. But you see, in my, what we can say, irritation, see, this man is so bad. This man is so bad. And when I went to the police station, I explained. The policeman said, "See, you have not got hurt here. You have got hurt in your heart." I was like, "Namaskar, you're now going to tell me poetically. What should I do?" But then I understood nothing can be done. But you see, in my head, that incident created a very strong sanskara. I said, "See, there was no reason that man hit me for nothing. I don't really understand what Krishna says that everybody is one. This man is not one. This man is not one." And as long as I carried that behavior, I began to think, is that man there? Is that man here? I kept, whenever I would go somewhere, I would see someone similar and think, is it that man? So you see what has happened here. What has happened, God knows why. Maybe later on I laughed about it and I understood Krishna had his way of telling me, better jamin pe aa jana. Zyada udo mat. There is not required. But that was an experience. I would not say it is right or anybody should physically, it's an assault only. It should not be done at all. But you see the division in my head because of my personal experience. Maybe I should have been sharper. I could have dodged him. I could have reacted, but the incident got over. And yet it created a sanskar which was probably Rajasic. And that Rajasic sanskar made me think like that. My friend is going through cancer to her or through cancer treatment. That time also I said, "See, there are two types of people in the world. One are selfless, other are selfish." So I've seen this divide. And because I experience it everywhere, now I'm busy dividing people into selfish and selfless people. Can you really do that? When you make some classification, you'll get confused. Why did the selfless person then behave selfish again? Because it's not a permanent classification, isn't it? But the mind, when it gets disturbed, when the peace of the mind is disturbed, the oneness is lost. And that is exactly what happens. That kind of knowledge is called Rajasic knowledge. The second shloka, if we see, the shloka number 21, Prithaktvena tu yajnanam nana bhavan prithak vidhan vetti sarveshu bhuteshu tadjnanam vidhi rajasam. But that knowledge which perceives in all forms a division, that which in the multiplicity of life sees a separation, devoid of oneness. It sees in all creations a distinction. The knowledge of such beings is powered by Rajas's passion. So this is interesting. Krishna says here that is that knowledge which allows you to further create divides or create divide, and divides are not going to stop. Once you start dividing on one particular line, it is like how Krishna says, Vyavasayatmika buddhi and Vyavasayatmika buddhi. Bahushakha yanantasya is what Krishna says. 1,000 shakhas, branches will keep going on. You will keep dividing. The basic of Mahabharata also is that only, no? Ayam nijaha paroveti ganana lagu chetasam udara charitanam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. The mind that can see the oneness in the entire family will be free. One person who says, "This is my person," that person is not. Even intellectuals, people say these people are smart because they have studied this scripture. I have studied Gita, so I am smarter than that person who has not studied Gita. Can we claim that anytime?
Not
Anybody?
really.
Not really,
no
No.
isn't
way.
it? The
Yeah.
moment we claim that, we can say we have not understood the Gita. That is the clearest thing, isn't it? Maybe somebody will be there in the world who has never read the Gita and yet is following Krishna's words. He may not call him Krishna also, or he might identify something else because it is the divine's work and divine's Leela. But if we cannot identify it under, even in Gita, there are followers. I follow this interpretation of the Gita, and so I am friends with people who give this type of interpretation. Those people are spoiling the name of divine because they are giving a different interpretation. That's another divide, no? And divide, divide, divide. One person wrote a book called Gita Has Come Alive because that person has written a translation, and according to him, all the other translations are dead. And how this person has only done something very special. He tried to push it ahead. And that does not stand the test of time always. But the Rajasic Buddhi is that which makes divide everywhere, starts dividing everywhere. And that is what Krishna says. It does not allow us to see a oneness. Maybe. At that time when I was thinking, I should have just, all right, I've got hurt, something crazy has happened. It's not logical. It is absolutely something I will not tolerate anytime. But let my mind become quiet. Let my mind become quiet. I had to come to terms ki chalo, if I see that man, I'll also say sorry for speaking arrogantly. That was what I decided. And then because I did not speak that much with arrogant, but when I got angry after the hit, I started shouting. And then I felt that man is having white hair. No point fighting with such a person also. Because you're a young man and that person is senior. So maybe he is cranky and he has done that out of his nature. But my heart was not at peace. So you will not believe what I did. I did not feel I was wrong, but I thought, for getting peace of mind to complete the sanskara, let me just go and say sorry to that individual. Now, where will I find it? I thought Krishna will help me. So I'll find it. So I was going elsewhere one day on the bike. I saw a shop. He was there in that shop. He was the mechanic. I went and I told him, I'm sorry. That time I had spoken, that was like maybe 1 month ago. I had spoken rudely to you. He said, okay, and
Good
then
to
he said, you
stay
did not
there.
speak anything. And then I realized this was not that individual also, but I felt so happy after saying sorry. Heart has become empty. I was not carrying anymore that division and that feeling inside, what we call some kind of, it was like cathartic. It was emptying whatever experience I had inside. Because the moment we carry that force, this Rajasic force creates divides, it makes you restless, you're not at peace. So that is the buddhi. If we are dividing everywhere, let's just understand there's no point in doing that because that is just Rajasic. The passion of Rajas is creating that division in our perspective. What about the third one? That is Tamasic. Krishna says, यत्तु कृत्स्न वदेकस्मिन् कार्ये सक्त महैतुकम् अतत्त्वार्थवदल्पं च तत्तामसम् उदाहृतम्. The pseudo knowledge gives the beings a very narrow view, for their eyes are blind and see nature to be untrue. Limited in perception, they prefer a routine of sameness, and their knowledge is blighted by tamas's darkness. So this half knowledge, it is dangerous, isn't it?
Hmm.
Half knowledge of things, but they are satisfied with that, and because of which they live in delusion and with very narrow views. Their eyes are blind. Even if God were to manifest in front of such individuals, they will not change. They will ask God to move away from their path and stop their whatever disturbance God is creating in their journey because they cannot tolerate. They are lost in the delusion. Their perception is so limited. What do they prefer? Well, they prefer a routine of sameness only. They want to just do the same thing again and again, not come out of their whatever loop that they are functioning in. And this is the darkness of tamas. This is the darkness of tamas. We had our badminton coach was very one of the interesting things. A lot of not so interesting things were there in his trade, but one of the good things was he would ask all the players to go and play one more sport for some time because he said, I don't want that sameness to keep coming in. It's like your head becomes a little bit, you keep doing the same thing again and again, again and again, it becomes what we can say mechanical. So he would just try to create a difference. So something like that. But a tamasic individual is always going to Do the same thing again and again and again and never come out of that routine. Let's continue. Niyatam sangarahitam ragadveshatah kritam afala prepsuna karma yattat satvikam uchyate. Any action that is performed in a manner right, from likings or aversions by remaining detached, regulated, and to the fruits of works by not being attached. No such actions to be done in Sattva's light. So Krishna says this. He says, any action that is performed in a correct manner, in a proper manner, not driven by your liking or not driven by your hatred for something. It is done as a duty by being detached, regulated, not worrying about the fruits. What are you going to get? Then such action is said to be done in a sattvic manner. Such an action is a sattvic action. Best way is to always introspect. What am I doing this? Why am I doing this? The easiest way to do sattvic action is to offer to Krishna. Remember him, offer him. That is it. That time, if you want to, sometimes as an adult or sometimes we get a mentor role and you have to sometimes correct somebody as a part of our duty, not because of going out of the way. Nobody is asked this, we shouldn't go and correct. That is also a principle. But if it is in our duty, even at that time, if you remember the divine, you're not going to be unnecessarily harsh also. And even if you scold and all of that, that also becomes connected with the divine only. It becomes a sattvic action because you have to do it in a manner which is required for that moment without worrying about the consequences by being completely attached. There were some saints who would utter swear words in Maharashtra also. These awakened saints, they would use swear words, very sharp, sharp words that in the Charitra they have put star, 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 star when they write the story of their saints because they can't print those. And yet people treated them as mantras because because they brought about transformation. They watched that in their life. So isn't that a sattvic action then by those individuals? It's not done with malice. It's not done with hatred. It is done with a higher connection. They had a connection with the divine. And that is why it was understood. But every single person will not do that as a sattvic action, isn't it? Nobody will be connected. It's the connection with the divine that matters and the detachment to the outcomes without having an aversion or without having a special liking also. If we can do that, that is what. Let's continue. We go to the Rajas. What is the Rajasic action? यत्तु कामे सुना कर्म साहंकारेण वा पुनः क्रियते बहुलायासम तद्राजसम उदाहृतम. But the actions initiated by desire's domination, egoistically seeking a personal and passionate aspiration, which require a great strain and effort to fulfill, no such actions to be as per Rajas's will. This is one interesting point. Um, can anybody, before we go to this shloka, can someone just tell me about any sattvic action that you have done in your life? Any sattvic action, whichever action it can be. It could be a regular, mundane task also, but you have done it in a, we have understood what sattvic manner is. Can we think of any one example of, from our own life, which we have done in a sattvic manner? Yes, please. Anybody? Any action without expectations for fruits. Doing, yes, Anjali ji. Yes, ma'am.
Something that I do on a daily basis.
Okay.
Every day, the cleaning lady comes to collect the waste. So,
Okay.
and every day when she comes, I offer her something to eat, whatever I
Okay.
have at home. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something that's done here, but I somehow
Yeah.
treat her
You
like
feel
a
like doing
guest
right.
who comes home every day. So, whatever
Yes.
is there,
Okay.
something to eat out.
Do
So,
you
I
feel
think,
good or bad after doing it?
oh, I feel very good about it.
You feel good
And
about
they
it. It's
also tell me, and they also ask me, why do you do this? Nobody in this apartment does. I mean, nobody gives anything. So it's okay. You don't have to give something every day. I said, no, it makes me happy when I give you something. So what was
Yeah.
this? I mean, and they come at very odd times, not at the time
Okay.
of any
Yes,
particular meal.
yes.
So
So,
whatever snack
yes.
or fruit or anything that I can offer.
Right. All right. Yes, जी. So, Pankaj is adding something? Yes, sir.
Yeah. On the same lines, अंजलि जी से इंस्पायर हुआ मैं और वो मुझे याद आया.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we go to India and
Yeah.
we stay there for quite some time,
Yes, sir.
so we have all the time these delivery boys coming up and Amazon and
Yeah.
whatnot and Swiggy. So
Yeah.
every person who comes to our house, my wife has
Hmm.
a practice of offering him a
Hmm.
kulfi
Oh,
from the
lovely. So
refrigerator.
sweet.
She'll offer a kulfi. And the
Yeah.
guy would, his face will lit up like anything, like he
Wow,
was
wow,
not
wow.
expecting.
Yes, yes.
मतलब कोई पैसा देता है, कोई
Yes.
पानी देता है, कोई मिठाई देता है, but this
Yes,
kulfi
yes.
thing.
Nobody
So
is
yeah,
giving.
we
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
so good after that. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Same way, I just wanted to, these are all actions, but physical actions, if we do any, what like we call Shramadan, no? Any Sattvic example of a Shramadan, if anybody has given some time, or you, Pankaji, anytime?
Yeah. I have done it. I have done
Where,
it.
sir?
Satvik Shramdan at Golden Temple.
Okay, at Golden Temple. What did you
For
do, sir,
about
and how much time
three
was it?
3 hours. We did for 3 hours, me and my
Okay,
wife,
yeah,
and we
all
were
right.
in cleaning utensils department.
Okay.
I mean, millions of plates and bowls, and the scale of that is
Yes,
very, very
yes, yes,
humongous.
yes,
We have
yes.
done that, yeah.
Yeah.
And-
What did you feel after 3 hours of cleaning utensils,
Oh,
sir?
it is such a great satisfaction you get.
You didn't feel tired, too tired, and अरे भगवान क्या
नहीं नहीं
ये
नहीं नहीं
काम
नहीं नहीं
दिया मुझे?
No, 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 no. In fact, sir, I would just add one more line here. I have done my MBA after engineering. So
Yes, sir.
in MBA, एक चीज जो सिखाई गई जो मैंने पकड़ के रखा है अभी तक, which was like you are supposed to do certain things which you are doing anyways,
Yeah,
but do the things which you are not supposed to do.
yeah. We're not bound to do it, but yet do
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
exactly. And that will give
Okay.
you so much of satisfaction
Yes,
that we
yes.
feel all the time.
Because that is actually like a sattvic action. And this is the trademark of a sattvic action is you sometimes feel unlimited energy reserves inside. And after doing that work also you feel very good on the inside. My Guruji, Damliji would always say, for me, there is no retirement. He would say, retirement. Add one more tire for me to do the work. I am going to, what is rest? He would say, change of work is rest. And what was the motivation? Well, offering works. Because when you are doing actions in a sattvic manner, you are not going to get drained. Maybe, if we look at it, the metaphysics of it is maybe a portion of the strength of the divine only enters into us and makes us do certain things. We don't get exhausted. We feel like we are not running on our own reserves. We are running on an energy which is coming from elsewhere because that is the nature of sattvic actions. But Rajas is the problem. That is the shloka we see here because they are driven by individual desire, egoistically seeking a personal, passionate aspiration. They require a great effort, a great strain and effort to fulfill. No such actions to be as per Rajas's will. Personal egos, personal desires, they require great strain to fulfill and to maintain it also. If you see, um, many people start organizations with certain desires, and the organization runs because of the desires of the founders. But then comes the story of finding the successor. The successor is not having the same force most of the time, and no matter what wonderful work is done, but the founder's work is going on, but afterwards it does not go ahead because individual force only how much ever if the founder has rajasic force and is able to pour it, it will move forward. The next person who is working will have to also continue pouring rajasic force to make it move forward because it is a project of the individual personal ego which is driving it. If it is a divine project, it will run if eternally. Yajna Suryena Chakshuhu. Look at the Ramakrishna missions. Did Ramakrishna Paramahansa say, I want to start organizations after my name? I want my name to come everywhere. No. Who started it? A Shishya of his started it. Is the Shishya still running as the head of that organization? Currently? No, he has moved on. He has reached a higher state of consciousness after leaving the Sharira. But people still now get inspiration, people get motivation to do it because they are driven. These are projects which are run. So the force is from the divine. But when the force is from the individual, you can push it up to a particular limit only. It will not go ahead because of the Rajasic force. So we should try to tap if what we call the sattvic force in all our actions, then it will not be like a strain. And I've seen a lot of people doing a lot of things, and after doing a lot of things, they say, I didn't do anything. And there are people who do very little and they keep saying, I did so much, I did so much, I did so much. And if you go little bit deeper, you will see they've really not done anything. And yet trying to encash. After a while, that also doesn't work. So that is the problem with Rajas. A lot of strain is required and you feel very tired. At the end of the day, if you are doing some work which you're happy and you're doing it in a sattvic manner, you will feel fresh, refreshed. But if you do something and just by desires, you have to feel, oh my God, I've got exhausted. This work is looking so tiring. Means like I think Pankaji just shared the example. Wash plates in your home for 20 minutes. You'll feel, hey God, what is this? Don't I have a better life? Why should I do this? All such questions start coming. But same thing if an individual is doing with a different bhava and like for example, Sir gave the example of the Golden Temple there. So many people come and they offer this and yet they feel energized because that is the sattvic action. Rajasic action requires lot of personal efforts. What about tamasic? Well, tamas is everywhere a problem only. Let us see. Anubandham Shayam हिंसामनपेक्ष्य च पौरुषम मोहादारभ्यते कर्म यत् तामसम उच्यते. Actions that have arisen out of ignorance is illusion, disproportionately and mechanically in a state of delusion, disregarding the consequences by wastage of efforts. These actions of tamas inflict only injury and hurt. So Krishna says actions that have arisen out of ignorance is illusion. Because of tamas, they are done disproportionately, mechanically, deluded, like pouring water in a desert. If you are an HR manager, you are going to allocate all the resources to a project which does not require resources. And the critical project that requires resources will not get any resource at all. Why? Because that individual is doing it unconsciously in a deluded manner, doing things mechanically. It's a wastage. It leads to wastage of effort. These actions of tamas only inflict injury and hurt. They cause problems. They hurt people. They lead to a lot of what we can say waste only. It's absolute waste. When sometimes imagine an industry collapsing because of tamasic action of one individual. How much hurt, how much loss it will create. Because that is the way of tamas. The delusion of tamas is a great liability. Mukta sango nahamvadi धृत्युत्साह समन्वितः सिद्ध सिद्धयोर निर्विकारः कर्ता सात्विक उच्यते. In success and loss, whose actions are calm and resolute. In sattva state, all his works he is set to execute. Devoid of attachment, his ego he has forsaken. And bereft of attachment, all his works are undertaken. So the one who is able to stay calm in success or in loss. This is actually repeated. This concept keeps coming again and again in the Gita because it is actually very important to always keep that status at all times of our life, whether we are successful or we are losing. We don't have to become frustrated. Our calmness should not get disturbed because all actions then they are because if we lose the calmness, we will again get into rajas. If you are doing something selflessly, again there will be a pollution of selfishness into it. The good action will slowly start getting corrupted and going in a different direction. So that's why at all times Krishna says the individual has to forsake the ego and bereft of attachment. All works are undertaken. One small question. I have no ego for myself, but I should think about my organization, isn't it? So, for the sake of my organization, can I have ego about the organization that I serve?
It's not ego, it's care and concern.
Care and concern for whom, Ji? I mean, it's like in the sense,
For your company, because you're serving the public. So it goes
okay,
round, doesn't it?
but isn't it also the possibility of outsourcing my ego, individual ego to collective ego?
No, taking pride in your work is not ego. Ego and pride,
Huh.
there is a difference.
Like, I'll just give you a scenario, Shashiji. Just why I wanted to share this. This question was one organization which was taking free workshops. This organization had a 10-day residential. I'm not naming the organization. I had a chance to go there. So, first day, second day, third day, everything was fine. On the 10th day, it was a residential workshop with a very nominal fee for registration. Food was being provided. Everybody's phones were confiscated, so nobody can talk to anybody else except each other. And on the 10th day, the organizational who were deputies, who were in charge of different sections, they had all been told that now you have to, because you have done this. This program is for getting selfless workers into your organization. On day 10, they were supposed to get new recruits, and they were not happy because nobody was willing to completely leave everything and join their organization. And so their dialogues started changing, and some of them then I had a chance to sit with some of the elders. They said, up to day 6, I was hearing very nice words. It was like honey is flowing through my ears only. And then suddenly it felt like blood is pouring out of my ears because the bhava of the individual changed. You see, the individual was a karyakarta of the organization. The organization is having a selfless aspect, but here the individual has got, we can say, misled, and it's in the name of the organization, the personal ego has come in. That becomes a problem. So, Shashiji, the question that I was asking was in this light that we cannot outsource. I may be serving an organization. I will serve the organization to the best of my abilities, and I will always uphold all the principles of my organization. And yet, I will not try to force things to manifest in a particular manner because in the forcing where I am not able to see the truth, and that time personal force enters inside, it creates disturbance. So yes, Maji, this was the light of the example that I was talking about.
So
Don't you
I
think
would
so?
just like, yes, I agree with
Yeah.
you. So I would just like to say something. A lot of organizations where they have hierarchy,
Yeah.
it's always the man at the bottom who suffers because the pressure comes from the top. At the
Yes.
end of the
Yes.
day, the credit goes to the top. Everybody is being pressurized for the ego of the top
Yes.
person. But
Yes.
everybody
Yes.
carries on doing their work because, as per them, it's not just a job. The work they're doing is going to affect everybody sooner or later.
Yes. Yes.
So, yes, in that case, yes, it's the ego of somebody up there that,
Yeah.
my name
Yes.
mustn't get spoiled. So they put pressure on
Yeah.
their managers who
But
put it
that
on.
is Rajasic, isn't it? Maybe the organization might have a very nice selfless aim, but the execution of the aim, if you allow Rajas, it will not serve the organization well also, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't. I'm talking of the NHS.
Okay. All right. We
I
don't
worked in the
really. Yeah.
NHS, so
Okay.
I'm just
Yes. Ji.
saying for 15, 16 years, and that's how
Yes.
it
Ji.
works.
Yes.
Until you really open your eyes, you think, hello, what's happening? You
Yeah.
don't know. So what you said,
Yeah.
yes, it is. Yes, you're right. There is an ego somewhere along the line.
Yes.
It's always at the
So
top, not at the bottom.
we have to, that aspect of we must, if we want to perform, like say, In an organization, I have my limitation. I have a limitation if say I'm just a karyakarta. I have to
Yeah.
execute orders. But while executing orders, I can ensure I don't miss out on the principles that I stand for.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is something because otherwise it will happen the same story as Karna, no?
Mm.
A good person in a bad organization. And he was in Duryodhana's side.
Yes.
Yeah. So this aspect
But
of completely
but he
always,
did participate willingly, didn't he, Karna?
yeah, he participated willingly and bore the consequences of it.
Yes.
Yes, that is what. So individual also, organizational also, one must be so clear that success or failure. I am not going to get just moved by certain results, short term or long term. I'm not running after the results. I'm just detached. I'm doing the thing because it needs to be done with a sense of duty, with calmness and resoluteness. That is the way is what sattvic action is to be done. So with this, we look at Rajasic and Tamasic, two more shlokas, and then we will conclude our session today. Ragi karma phala prepsur labdho hinsatmako shuchihi harsha shokan vidaha karta rajasaha parikirtitaha. With passion, indulgence, and by holding attachment, greedily desiring the fruits of works and their fulfillment, extremes of emotions in success and loss, spreading violence. Such a doer is said to be Rajas in his nature and essence. Passion with indulgence, holding attachment. So, having a passion is fine. We must have passion. We should be passionate. But getting carried away in that passion and greedily desiring certain results, holding attachment, getting indulging continuously in those passions, that is a problem because in passions you get extreme of emotions also, isn't it? And when you have extreme of emotions, your actions are 100%, you can be assured that your actions are going to get disturbed. It will
Yeah.
lead to success. In success, you'll be overexcited. In the overexcitement, you might make mistakes. In again, failure, you get over depressed. There are also reactions, emotional reactions. They can also lead to loss. They
Mm.
can spread violence. Such a doer, Krishna says, is Rajas in nature and essence. We go to the last part, which is the 28th shloka. We stop here in this shloka today. Ayuktaha prakrataha stabdaha shato naishkruti kolasaha Vishadi Dirghasutri cha Karta Tamasa Uchyate. One who acts without thinking and reacts by default. I bet we have come across a lot of people like this. One who acts without thinking and reacts by default. We should not fall into the category of this. We should ensure that at least that let's not act without thinking and just simply react for the sake of it. One who acts without thinking and reacts by default, his every work is obstinate and wrought with fault, cunning and ignorant, indolent and inexpressive. Such a doer in state of tamas is always depressive. The perfect cocktail for inviting depression in life. This is the tamasic action. Simply thinking, without thinking, reacting randomly. Every action that is done is having an element of false and fault. Why does it happen? Because the person is not involved only, no?
Mm.
Every action, it's like sometimes when you collaborate with individuals who are tamasic, you feel like I better do that person's work rather than give that person the work because it will end up messing everything. It will be more. It will be a greater problem to correct the mistakes that are done. So it's because every action is bound to fail because that person is going to create a. I think we do get that experience, especially when we are collaborating with people.
Yeah.
At that time, we must understand this is a great liability. Cunning and ignorant. Not just ignorant, very cunningly using the ignorance to further their personal whatever agendas they're having. Indolent, lazy, and inexpressive. Such a doer in a state of tamas is always depressive. So this is tamasic action, full of faults and so many mistakes. The individual has almost no expression of anything, not interested in doing anything, and just doing it for the sake of doing it, and also having an element of cunningness inside. that is the tamasic action. So again, these are gunas, rajas, tamas, sattva, that are affecting our understanding, affecting our works, also affecting our karma. So with this, we'll stop. Later, we will continue on the next week. I think we may require 2 days to complete the remainder of this, but we'll not try to stretch it. I mean, we'll not try to confine ourselves to 2 days. If it takes one more, it might take another. So with this, today's session we can conclude. If anybody wishes to share something or ask something, or you want to give the takeaway, you are most welcome. Yes, you.
My takeaway for today is Shloka 17, which says, one who functions as an instrument of God cannot be bound by any sin.
One who functions as an instrument of God
Cannot be bound by any sin.
Yeah. Yes, the person is free completely. It's the divine is the doer. All right, that was one nice takeaway. Anybody else would like to add something? Any other point as a takeaway from today? Anything? And then we can conclude after that. Yes, please.
Like there are so many aspects, all of them have sattvic, rajas, tamasic. So we
Yeah.
should be careful that in any
What
of
is
the things
the
we should not fall. We should be very careful.
Yes. And instead of we should need not have a fear inside that what guna is the wrong guna going to work in me. Instead, just let me understand it. I don't want to get attached.
Mm.
I don't want to suddenly start thinking I am possessing some kind of exclusive knowledge. I don't have to think that I'm any different. I may not be worse than anybody. Same way, I will not be better than anybody, isn't it? Each person is not to be compared with. We don't have to compare. So, if we are able to look at these three factors, probably I think most of our actions will automatically be sattvic only. No? Personal desires, I've kept them aside. I'm not having strong hatred, also strong dislikes, also, and not so much strong liking, also. What am I interested? I am interested in progressing. What action comes to me, I'm going to do it to best of my ability. If I do not know, I will not feel sad and or shy of or embarrassed to admit I do not know. And also, I can learn. I can always learn and grow. So just because I don't succeed at one time does not mean I'll never succeed. This kind of attitude will allow us to keep progressing, and naturally we will be in that guna of sattva. And when we are in the sattvic guna, well, we get the support also. People also come from different corners. Divine health also comes, and the aspect of energy drain does not take place. Sometimes you do a lot of work and you feel, where did that energy come from? For me, sometimes Gita class is really very special because just before the class, sometimes I'm like, I don't have energy. And suddenly, when you start reading about Krishna's works, you feel like you get pumped up. Energy comes from nowhere. It's something like that. When we do things out of the love, what we start enjoying, and it's not about only doing what you like. It's like trying to love whatever you're doing, finding your love in whatever you do. No? That will allow you to enjoy the sattvic ananda in everything. So I think with this, we are ready to conclude our session today. Let's conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashit dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tatsat, Krishna Mande Jagat Kurum. Hari Om. Punarmilama.
Hari
Namaskar.
Om.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Dhanyavad.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Hari Om.
Thank you,
Everybody have a
Sushruti.
good
Good
weekend.
night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy
Happy
Yes,
weekend.
weekend.
happy weekend to everybody. Yes.
Weekend.
Namaste.